All right. Yes.
Comment on the bombing of Iran over the weekend and your position on that, obviously.
Well, I was on Maria Bartiromo's show yesterday and was able to articulate my views on that. But I think that President Trump, from the time he came down the escalator in 2015 till the president, has been very consistent. He's also been correct that the policy of the United States is that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. And the reason why they can't have a nuclear weapon is, one, we don't want to see nuclear proliferation generally, but two, no country has been more hostile to the United States of America since 1979 than the Iranian mullahs have been. And that started with the hostage crisis in 79 and 80. It continued with the bombing of the Marine Corps barracks in Beirut, Lebanon in 1983 that killed over 240 service members. You also saw it at the bombing of the Khobar Towers in 1996. And then when I was serving in Iraq as a junior officer, the majority of the casualties, both killed in action and wounded in action at that time in the conflict, 2007 into 2008, were at the hands of Iranian-backed Shia militia. So they are responsible for maiming thousands of American service members and probably killing over 1,000 U.S. service members. The terrorism you see in the Middle East, whether it's Houthis, whether it's Hezbollah, whether it's Hamas, that is all because of Iran. Iran funds terrorism around the world, and they're the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism. Third, Iran's ideology since 1979 and their ruling class with the Ayatollah and his other clerics, we rely on mutually assured destruction to ensure that someone's not going to launch a nuclear attack. I mean, during the Cold War, Soviets had enough nuclear missiles to wipe America off the map. We had more than enough to wipe them off the map. They knew if they fired one at us, we'd fire back, and then we'd both end up going in a cloud of smoke. So that deterred, because it just wasn't worth doing. You know, the problem with Iran is these are militant Shia Islamists. And so they have a very apocalyptic, radical ideology. So mutually assured destruction for them, if they fire at Israel and knowing Israel will fire back and do immense damage, or the United States, I don't know if they could reach the United States yet, but if they did that, now because they do consider us the great Satan, they know that would be a lot of damage, but that may not be a deterrent for them. That may be an inducement to them. That may be furthering what they want to do. So I think people have recognized that them being able to acquire a nuclear weapon would be a unique challenge, not just for the region, but throughout the world. And you know, no one's really been willing to fully do anything about it. And I think President Trump showed decisiveness to be able, you know, to act when he did. Now people say, well, what are they going to do to respond? And they may, right? I don't think they can respond effectively conventionally against U.S. forces. They just don't have the ability. But that's not typically how they operate. They operate through these proxy groups, through these militia groups, through Hezbollah, through all this stuff. Who knows who they sent across the southern border during Biden's administration? We don't know, but I just think it's important to point out they've been waging conflict against the United States since 1979. They've really just been limited by their means. If they had more means, they would have done more. So I don't know that it's going to radically change certainly their capability, but their posture was hostile before this, and obviously, you know, it will be hostile since then. Now, for our part, when the IDF operations commenced against Iran and Iran started firing those ballistic missiles into Israel, we knew that that would impact residents of the state of Florida, because we have college students who are studying abroad that are students at our state university system. We have families that go on vacation to Israel. We had church groups that were going over there. We had Birthright Israel, people that were going to Israel for the first time in their lives. And we knew that they were in dire straits, because Ben Gurion Airport was totally shut down. It didn't like you've got a lot of great options. It didn't like you're in Florida and you can just go to Georgia or go to South Carolina. It's like, you know, that region is not the easiest region for folks. And so we knew there was going to be need. We had effectuated rescues after October 7, 2023 with Florida's Division of Emergency Management when the Hamas attacks occurred, and we were able to rescue a lot of people from there. We've also rescued Floridians and Americans from instability in Haiti at the beginning of 2024. So this is just something that we do, and we kind of know how to do it from an emergency management perspective. This was more difficult than those other operations, but we were able to get 1,500 out during the first week out of Israel. A lot of them ended up in Cyprus, boated to Cyprus, and then we've been running flights now from, from wherever. I mean, I don't even want to give the details. So we're just running flights. We're running flights to the U.S. So I was there to greet folks on either Thursday or Friday of last week, and you know, you see somebody that's like 20 years old that thought they were just going to study some. I saw a big church group from North Florida. You know, they're going there to look at all the historic sites, and you can open the Bible. They can point to you, like, here's where David and Goliath. Here's, you go to Bethlehem. You can go to all these places, and it's unlike anything you'll ever do from a perspective of not just faith, but just the incredible history of thousands of years. I mean, Florida, you know, our history, I was doing the National Guard Symposium, and we joke with Massachusetts because they claim they have the earliest National Guard muster in 1636. I said, St. Augustine, the Spanish, 1565. So Florida, we kind of got some decent history in terms of that, and yet that is chump change compared to over there. So this is like a really, really memorable, and in some people, life-changing experience to go over there. Then to have it interrupted with this, where people don't really know where to turn, I think people were just genuinely appreciative that the state of Florida was there to help. So those operations are ongoing. We, of course, anticipate that there'll be more Iranian attacks in Israel. And sometimes what happens in these things is the response to a U.S. action will be just simply to take it out on Israel. So that's something that we are contemplating. But the operations will continue. And I know that there was a little bit of a, not delay, but just during the Sabbath, some of the folks weren't traveling on Friday night and Saturday into Saturday night. So those flights, though, will be continuous until we get people to safety.
Regarding the